Welcome to Celebrating Act Two. Celebrating Act Two is the user manual for the second half of your life.
Welcome back for another Celebrating Act Two discussion with one of our favorite contributing, regular contributing editors, Dr. Liz Lister. I'm here with my partner, John Coleman. Good morning, Liz and John.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
Morning.
Good. Listen, Liz, I remember Art and I had been trading stories off the air about smoking. If you're old, if you're our age, everybody smoked at that time. But we talked about when did it start and how hard was it to quit and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
But over the years, of course, smoking has been just about banned. And Art and my wife and other people that I know are all reformed smokers. So
No, no, no. I'm a
there's nothing
non-smoker.
worse than a reformed
I'm
smoker.
a non-smoker, John.
Now, you're a reformed smoker, aren't you? You can't go into a car that had smoke, could you?
I prefer not to.
That's a reformed smoker. I'm a non-smoker. I don't care.
You're the worst kind.
So anyway, Liz,
Ah,
typical for us to get to take a long time to get to the subject, but I
yeah.
remember Dr. Liz Lister talking about somewhere along the line, and I can't remember the situation, talking about sitting is the new smoking. And
Mm.
I times have changed, and of course, as you get older, you get more sedentary. So I thought just that phrase, sitting is the new smoking, I thought that was filled with wisdom. Tell us why, though. Why is sitting the new smoking, and why is
Or,
it so bad for you?
or is it?
Or is it? Good point.
Definitely is. Lots of data coming from a lot of different sources. But there's one particular expert, Dr. James Levine at the Mayo Clinic, who I believe he was probably the first person to say the phrase sitting is the new smoking. He has done all kinds of studies and came out with really interesting information that shows the harm that our shift to a more sedentary lifestyle. A lot of people's jobs require sitting at a desk all day long. I think overall there are fewer jobs that have people outside and active than there used to be. I think that's just generally true across the board. So a lot of us are spending a lot less time moving around outside and a lot more time sitting in front of a computer at this point in time.
But
Boy, isn't that the truth?
as I'm a former smoker, I quit about 35, 40 years ago now, and it was very hard. I had tried several times to quit, but I associate that with lungs and lung cancer and things like that. So, how do you equate sitting, which is sedentary, and I can see that there would be negative aspects of not getting enough exercise, with the kind of issues that smoking affected people with lung cancer and emphysema and things like that?
Right, right, exactly. Well, when I was doing a little bit of research for our conversation today, I came across a lot of people who were very upset with the comparison between sitting and smoking because let's just be clear, smoking is still bad. It's very bad for anybody who smokes. It's the number one thing. Someone who smokes, the top number one, two, and three thing that they can do to improve their health is to stop smoking. There's no question about that. And we know that a lot of the illnesses that smoking contributes to, including heart disease, obesity, these types of illnesses of our time, are also very significant in people who are not as active and people who are very sedentary. This includes people who are out exercising. I came across a phrase that I hadn't seen before, which is the sedentary athlete. Turns out that if you sit at a desk for 8 hours all day long, including staying at your desk and working through your lunch break while you're eating, and then you go to the gym for an hour, it does not make up for the harm that's done to metabolism and muscle function from all that sitting during the day.
Wow, what a
Mhm.
significant finding. Of course, everything in life is a balance anyway. But
Exactly.
to think about, because that's really common uh, uh, these days. I'll say these days, the last generation, people go to the gym as part of their regular routine. But
Right.
if it's not going to make up for sitting around, being completely
Right.
sedentary, working behind a computer
Exactly.
8 hours a day, what do we do? What do we do? We just don't sit?
Well, that's one possibility. I did come across a study that someone did where they didn't sit for a month. It was a little bit humorous, and it was meant to be. It was meant to be making the point. But he stood up while he was having meals with his family. He stood up while he was at the movies. So he tried to do this for a month. And it's not that everybody should never sit. That's definitely not the answer that we're looking for. But what we're looking for is standing up way more often. So, for example, at least minimum every well, let me go back to ideally. Ideally, if you can move around about every 30 minutes, that's really the best in terms of circulation. Because for every 2 hours, after 30 minutes of sitting still, the metabolism starts to slow down.
Wow.
Hmm.
I know, I know.
So,
And then after 2 hours go by, then our not only is our metabolism going down more, but it's also even further impacting, for example, cholesterol. The good cholesterol levels have been shown to go down after only 2 hours of sitting.
wow.
Hmm.
So when you say move around and standing, you're just talking about walking from room to room, or not
Yes,
sitting, not sitting.
exactly, exactly. Just standing up, do a little stretch for a moment. Whatever people can do
Sure.
is going to be helpful.
Wiggle your
Yep.
extremities. Some of those
Yes.
exercises they tell you to do at your desk, do them standing up.
What's kind of interesting, you can
Exactly.
they're also advertising on TV some desks that lift up. You put your computer and everything, you
Yes.
lift up and you stand up.
Yes.
And to me, the
Yes.
ideal situation was always having like a foreman's desk, which is basically bar stool height kind of
Yeah.
desk.
Yes.
With
Yes.
my, and I, in fact, I had that at one or two offices during my variety of careers, and I would stand most of the time and do all my computer work, and that would cause me to stop off and chat with somebody, and
Yes.
people would always be invited into the office, and there was a couch there to sit down in case we wanted to have a meeting. So
Yes.
maybe there is something to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a desk, a little just a platform that my laptop sits on top of my desk. And I definitely try to stand up as much as I can. If I'm on the phone, I try to be standing up. Just whatever we people can set timers. People have devices now that beep or buzz and remind them if they've been sitting for an hour to get up and just move around.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing that sitting does, and this is related to what we're talking about, is the human head in an adult weighs, let's say, 10 pounds or so. And if you're sitting and your head is leaning forward, any chiropractor will tell you that the head angled forward like that can weigh 16 or 18 pounds of pressure on your neck and shoulders. So, this is part of the problem with prolonged sitting.
Yeah, so
So,
John, you've been talking about me
so
having 10 pounds of dead weight on my shoulders,
yeah.
and I always thought that was an insult. You were just really trying to help me stay healthy, weren't you? Thank you,
That's
John.
it's all about you, Art. I was just trying to sit up straight. That's not that easy. It's so much easier to do this. Liz,
Okay.
this is great, great advice. And are we? Do you find with your patients that we are sitting more as we get older? I know you have a wide range of patients, age range of patients. Do you think people, the Celebrating Act Two
Yes,
audience over 50,
indeed.
do you think
Yes.
we tend to sit more?
Well, I think, you know what? I'm kind of trying to think about people I know and the patients that I take care of. It really depends on what we are spending our time doing.
Yeah.
All right. So if someone decides if they're retired and they decide it's time to write a book and you're spending hours at your computer because now you're finally writing your memoir, okay, that's just an example of sitting for a prolonged period of time. So it really, really, if you're volunteering and you're reading to kids, again, you just want to be sure that whatever you're doing, you want to just make sure that you're getting up ideally every 30 minutes and moving
Yeah.
around a little bit. Okay. leg lifts, knee bends, whatever you're able to do, okay, is just going to help your whole alignment, your whole posture. The posture of our chest is very important for uh, heart and lung circulation. Okay, so all of this is just, you can see how it radiates out and impacts our health.
Okay, so you're
Really,
basically saying that uh, people are going to continue to sit, whether you're over 50 or not, and that ideally, if you did nothing other than get up and move around a little bit for a few minutes every half hour or 45 minutes, it's that alone will be useful as opposed to sitting all day and then going out to the gym right after work and working out for an hour and a half. That's not as good as getting, it- not that you shouldn't do that, but
Yeah,
that's not as good as constantly moving around a little bit so that it just doesn't always sit there.
right.
exactly. It's so
Raising,
important.
I think
Yeah.
Liz, you described it as raising your base metabolism.
Yes,
That's, I
exactly.
mean,
Your
that,
baseline activity. Exactly. That's right.
yeah,
John is
yeah.
such a good listener,
I
I'm
an
taking
know.
notes.
amazing listener. I
I'm
just
at my
more impressed with
computer. I'm
you every
taking
day.
notes. Yeah, but I'm sitting at my computer, so that's
Yes.
we can't have it. Can't have it all, I guess. Uh, uh, Dr. Liz, this has been really informative, really helpful to a sedentary lard ass like myself.
And
Dr. Liz Lister, MD. Doctor, what's your website again? Dr. Liz, MD.
drlizmd.com, drlizmd.com.
Good, and it's always a good resource for us to look at your blog articles and other things. So
Thank you.
we encourage all our viewers and listeners to go online. Don't sit too long, but do go online and look up Dr. Liz MD.
And this, while it doesn't, when you listen to Dr. Liz MD, it doesn't actually qualify as an office visit. So you should use your opportunity to speak with your own doctor to make sure you know what's going on with your system, or call Dr. Liz MD and set up an appointment and check out your hormones, because she certainly can help you do that. But until the next time, thank you again for giving us great bits of advice to live longer, healthier lives. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we all have to stand up now.
Uh, I
Yes, let's
can.
do it.
I'm operating my computer, John.
For more on Celebrating Act Two, visit our webpage, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and tell your friends. Celebrating Act Two is the user manual for the second half of your life.